Well, life is an adventure. We're switching things up today. We were supposed to go stand-up boarding, and Kyla was really excited, but Kyla woke up and not feeling well. So yeah, I went and talked with Garth, the owner, known him through the past. Just tell him. Turn left onto Oak Hill Drive. Sorry, I'm talking to Brenda here. I'm here on the Grand with Garth. And you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm just thinking, Kevin, is we should try something before we go any further, is Canadian wasabi. Have you had Canadian wasabi yet? Okay, we're going to cut for a moment and go try some Canadian wasabi and be right back.
So how, like really, a lot?
Just eat the whole lot, yeah.
No!
Yeah. Do you like broccoli?
Yeah, but you said
it's broccoli with heat. What do you think? Getting that broccoli flavor? Mm-hmm. Getting that heat?
That's good.
Damn, he's gonna eat the whole forest on me.
Oh yeah, no, now. Oh, thanks a lot. Woo!
So it's actually winter cress. That's what it is. Remember?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. But amazing flavor.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But you take a whole bunch of people down this river. Like you were saying, how many?
So we're looking at 40,000 people at least this year. Yeah.
40,000 people down the Grand.
Exactly.
Wow, and is it by rafting, stand-up boarding?
So we have 7 different types of boats. So there's rafting, stand-up paddleboard, tandem kayaks, yaks, turbo tubes. So you haven't seen the turbo tubes, canoes, you name it, we do it.
What do you think of the Grand? Like, what's your favorite moment and time? And
well, for me, I traveled all over Ontario, and the Grand is my favorite because it's Carolinian forest. And it's just got a huge variety of insects, trees, plants. It's one of those wild places. And I think the neatest thing is you're 60 miles from Toronto and you're in this setting that shouldn't be here. And that's what people say when they get off the river. They just say, wow, I mean, that's the Grand. Yeah. 1960, this system was so polluted, we'd sit here with our slingshots, we'd be shooting the poop. That's where it was at. So as a result of the Grand River conservation efforts, in the year 2000 in Australia, it won the national award for the best managed river in the world. So there's 93 different species of fish. There's bald eagles, there's otter, there's osprey, beaver. Like, it's one of these comeback stories, again, in our own backyard, and we don't even know about it.
Just for the youth of today, what are they more into the rafting, canoeing, or what?
I would say the turbo tubing is actually the biggest one. So the turbo tubes are like an individual raft. We call it the couch potato market, which really fits for the students because they are armchair vampires. So they sit in their couch potatoes, and down the river they go, and they can't tip over. They're totally safe. We started out with 10 of these. We now have 400 of them, and we cannot keep up. We are turning people away on the weekend. So this is just going into our 13th year. Yeah, and it was your son's idea, you said? It was my son's idea. I thought he was crazy because at that time there were 7 other outfitters here. And I said, Chad, we are going to lose our shirts. But he said, no, Dad. He said, what we'll do is we'll start out with 4 rafts, and we'll just take people down the river, and we'll do minimum paddling and maximum learning experiences. And boom, away we went. So we have about 52 people on staff. We now have capacity to do 900 people a day. So that's where we are. Well, I think the other thing is finding a vessel that people can safely go down the river. They have lost the canoeing skills, they've lost the kayaking skills, but with the rafts and turbo tubes and the yaks, I don't know if you know it, those are like a 2-man raft kayak. Those, it doesn't matter, we know we're gonna see you alive at the other end because away you go. and that's been a huge attraction. So especially with the newcomer market, those rafts and turbo tubes, it's just huge. Because they can travel as a family, and they often come as families. So this is a really neat family experience for them.
Well, thanks a lot. And so sorry, my daughter's ill. You said your staff were sick.
Yeah, so influenza is actually going through. It started on our staff last week. In fact, some of my guides today are not guiding because they want to stay near the outhouse.
Oh no. Kyle, you're not giving this to me.
Yeah. If you're going on a trip, you don't want it.
Oh man.
It'll be Mr. Loosey-goosey.
Well, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for meeting me on the river and sharing all your stories.
Okay, catch you then. Bye.
Well, I've always wanted to go here, Kyla. It's a cool place. You will find out why.
Stay tuned. Okay, that's enough. It's good. We're good.
So the significance of this church is it plays a very important role in the Six Nations Society. It's a very, very important historical, I like to call it an artifact. Because when you look around this church, it's very hard to believe that you are standing in a building that was built in 1785. So this chapel was built, it was built with the Mohawk village. that was around it. The Mohawk village was built in 1784, and this was the village that Joseph Brant built when there was a divide in the American Revolution between America and Canada. So he wanted a safe haven to be built for the Mohawk. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of history, and it just has so much that happened, and we have 8 stained glass windows here that depict the important milestones in our history. We also have a coat of arms that is from 1786 that was carved from a single block of wood, and it was a gift from King George III. Just what's significant about this chapel is that just all of the history that came with it, it just plays such a significant role in the broadening of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy history.
So this is really cool. This is where they would land the canoes to go up to the church, and it's really neat. What the guide said is the graveyard is in the front of the church now, but it really wasn't. It was in the back of the church, but that's because canoes would come up from the Grand to go to church, where now we go by car. And yeah, and if you were wondering, yes, I need a haircut. Sorry, it's a little windy. Looking like Cousin It right now. Well, we're just heading home from a good weekend along the Grand River in Paris and Brantford. It was a great time. Kyla's still asleep. She's still not feeling well in the back, but hopefully she feels better. And hopefully I don't get what she has. Poor Christine has to now drive from my place in Bridgenorth to Kingston. But it was good. It was a good weekend.
It was a great weekend.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And what was your favorite part?
My favorite part was paddling on the Grand River.
Yeah, mine too. It was great. Everything was great, but that was the highlight. That's it. So yeah, check that area out if you want to chill for the weekend like we did. Go to Paris and Brantford, and there's tons of things to do. We just did a small bit of what you can do there. It's the whole idea of paddling the Grand River, but also experience the culture around it. So I think we did that. I think we had a good time doing it. Except maybe for Kyla right now. She's not feeling well. I'd also like to thank Brenda, our GPS person, for helping us getting around.
Brenda really came through for us this weekend.
Are you bringing Brenda back home with you?
Of course.
Oh, great, because she's not staying with me. You know, you can take Brenda home with you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Brenda, our love, hold fast, hold on. Is that the lyrics? Oh, Brenda, our love, throw you out the window. La, la, la. We're saving a baby bird off the road. Oh. Wait for this car gets it. Let's put him in that bush, okay? There you go. Okay.